How does this thing work? Oh, hey guys, welcome to the live stream starting EDU with my good buddy Ivan. Welcome, Ivan.
Thanks.
How's your week?
Yeah, doing good. Yep.
Yeah,
It's a busy week. Yep.
Yeah, I sort of tapped into the US consciousness. That must have been interesting.
Yeah, I've been doing. Yeah, it's been. I have some ideas of where things are going to go, but nobody really knows. So it's all good.
It seems like it's unraveling, and we'll go into that today. Just so people know the intention today. Again, most of this is for the beautiful Cosmic Crypto members, but anyone else who joins and wants to hear about some crypto predictions, which Ivan does time to time, and then we'll also go into world events, what's happening in DC, and a few other things. We'll get into that stuff. There's some big predictions out there on the boards and all sorts. As you know, I don't really listen to QAnon and stuff, but we'll talk about some of their theories. Who knows what's going on? And we will also get into a super soldier who's become like a guardian of Earth called Blue Ranger, which is pretty interesting. And he'll lead us into talking about reclaiming our gifts, supernatural gifts, and all that stuff too. The usual for you.
Yeah, sure. Bizarre, and more the bizarre, the better. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But before we go down and we start channeling, I just want to say for people to just check out Ivan's website, and he does private sessions and all that good stuff. How have you been? Have you been busy with that recently?
Yeah, I've been busy recently. Yeah, you can find me at ivanteller.com or message me if none of it makes any sense. Pretty simple, but you never know. It might get kind of confusing.
Am I getting commission yet for all the people I'm bringing?
Oh yeah, it's checks in the mail. Yeah.
No, it's really worth doing, guys. Like, I absolutely loved it. I've talked about it before on Rex's show when we were doing past life stuff, and just tapping into any beings that or your guides. Which again, we're doing a course together, which we'll be launching pretty soon. Which will be fun. So that would be good. And it's sort of content people don't really see much. With knowing how to discern even if your guide's out of tune, or they're maybe not acting for your best accord. And then as well as that, our entity influences as well, which we can't see. Most of us can't see, at least. Anywho, should we dive in? Should we do it?
Sure.
Yeah.
What I can do. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So shall we channel, first of all, we'll make this general, a being that has the best understanding of the cryptocurrency market on Earth, if that's possible.
Sure. Yeah, that's different. Sure. You can do that. Okay. All right. Blessings. User discretion advised. Let's see where this goes. But it's like, it just does a strange one to tap into. So
unexpected.
We'll see how it goes. Okay. All right. Blessings. Greetings. We are the crypto consciousness.
Greetings. Thanks for joining us. This is the first.
Blessings. We are many things. We are also biological. We are like you. We can be in the physical as you are, but we are mostly digital at this time.
Interesting. And whereabouts do you reside? Are you in a different realm? And do you watch over Earth?
We are in the astral plane. We bring our knowledge to you. So the different cryptocurrencies are actual beings. They can't actually be seen physically. I don't believe many are prepared for that, but to believe many will be actually channeling these like certain cryptocurrency beings in your future time.
Interesting. Okay. And I was wondering if we could start off just by, guiding our members and, people who are tuning into this. We're talking about the market. It's been going crazy, which I'm sure you've been following just with how much we've had a run up. Could you coach us on, right now, what to expect over the next few months? Will there be a correction? Yeah.
Well, your Bitcoin is currently even calls itself the king, acting like a king.
Yep.
Doing things a king would do, being unexpected. Says one thing, does another. Not always the easiest to predict. So, and there are others that are easier to predict, but they do sometimes put false energies out there because they don't want others to know what they're up to.
Mm-hmm.
So, depends on your guides, and it's kind of like a battle tapping into all these.
And do you find, to talk about some big potential hurdles, this Tether lawsuit, the stable coin, is that going to have an influence with that lawsuit of 1.3 trillion on the rest of the market? What do you see?
Some, not entirely. It won't affect everything, but okay, it'll affect those as it's closely connected to, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Yeah. And so the elite have been using Tether as a way of inflating the market, would you say?
You're using mostly Bitcoin for that, but yes,
Of course.
that's one of them. But Bitcoin's a major one too.
Okay. And do you see
fear?
Yes. Everyone is raving about Bitcoin. I personally not so interested for many reasons because it's quite slow, not scalable, as you understand. And I just wanted to go into that. Is there a time in the near future where the altcoins, the smaller coins, will be decoupled from Bitcoin and they'll move differently? Just so we know, in 2021.
Well, yeah, Bitcoin is used as an umbrella right now above all the others, but others are finding ways to become their own kind of. I don't use the term umbrella. They're just try to rise up above it. But the ones that are doing it currently will continue to rise, of course. And the smaller ones will sometimes, some coins just want to stay menial for right now. It's a safer bet. It's easier to learn from. And, as people are learning experience, they can go for other ones that are larger, of course.
Yep. And a lot of people have been looking at these, markers, significant dates, the 14th of January, the 21st of January, and I promised I would ask the question, do you see Bitcoin, receding down to even $25,000 or below?
Not at this point, no.
Yeah.
I might end up going to 50,000 actually, from what we were saying.
And I think people need to be careful with their manifestations. A lot of people in anything in life, not just investing, they can almost talk themselves energetically into,
Yes, and that's what's happening right now.
Right. It's just, I think people are looking at the big picture with what's happening in DC and all that stuff with the presidency, and they're looking at that as being a hurdle. But I guess there's nowhere else for people to really put their money right now, at least.
Well, yes, now they're using Bitcoin or just crypto in general because people feel the dollar is going to crash, so crypto is the place to go hide. But even that's not always 100%, as you know.
Okay. And there's a couple of other points, just for our community we want to talk about. Can we talk into the upside of Bitcoin first for this year? We're looking at price targets of 45,000, 50,000, and potentially 60,000. Starting with 45,000, is that achievable in the first quarter of this year, just from your estimate?
It is up in the air. Nothing's for certain, but
of course,
we say yes, maybe 42. It might go to 45. It's uncertain at this time. It's having arguments with those that are trying to buy it and manipulate it. It is not going by the full game.
Of course. So. Who's the biggest manipulator as well? With Bitcoin, is it AI systems? Is it the elite? Is it China? What's your perspective?
But one of them is at JP Morgan.
Oh, of course. Oh wow! And they're starting their own coin, as we know, JPM coin. Yeah. How will that? I hope it's.
It will be significant, but I don't believe there will be coins to be made to surpass Bitcoin eventually.
Yep.
So,
And we feel like we, thanks to Spirit and people like and beings like yourself, we know which ones to be in as well to change everyone's lives. So that brings me into some other coins that we're looking at. I'd like to start with a project called EOS, and just find out more about their team and how you tap into them.
this is a crypto energy EOS. EOS, you say?
EOS, correct.
It is a neutral team. It does have agendas. It's not the most outgoing. The agendas are very hidden.
Okay.
It will rise up, as some are predicting, not as quickly as some would like it.
Yeah, that's always the case.
Well, some want to buy into and just have it rise up to 1,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think we've looked at $20 as a potential estimate for some time in the foreseeable near future. But to go back to what you said about agendas, are they negative agendas? Are they positive? Do you have a bit more detail?
It's trying to be more neutral. It is. We do see 17, not so much 20, but 20 is, of course, possible. We see 17.
Okay, that's good to know. And do you see them? They do a lot of work, from what I understand, with some other nations like China and in the East. Is that their main, sort of markets, or will it be adopted worldwide?
It'll be adopted worldwide.
Okay. Yep. And what do you get when you tap into the top sort of leader in EOS? I don't have a name, unfortunately.
Is that what you're looking for, a name, or what is it that you're looking for? Top leader?
I'm just looking for you to tap into, one of the top level team, the leadership, as a person, as a being, their essence.
Well, it has an elite energy and money. These coins have an elitist vibration.
Okay.
Some are moderate, some are egotistical, some are secretive. They're just like people, basically. They all have personalities.
Just another day on planet Earth.
They can say one thing and do another.
Okay.
That's what many of them are doing right now.
Yeah, I was interested because they had a partnership with Google and a few other big players, which I was told not to read into too much, but it's always good to know. Thank you for that.
Oh, yes, there is a lot of backstabbing going on with it at this time.
That's good to know. Okay, thank you. And moving on to XRP, the talk of the town, XRP. Could you advise us on the lawsuit and where it's going?
We see it resurrecting itself. Now, the timing of that is not clear. Let's put it this way. It's changing hands. It's changing who's running it.
Okay.
So this was about to happen anyway. And there was some insider trading going on.
Yep.
A lot of it. So
yep.
I believe JP Morgan was also involved with that one, quietly, of course.
Of course. Yeah. And that was the thing. It was the whole issue with the actual Ripple Labs as opposed to XRP, even though they're different.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no timeline for that. I can understand. And the transition of leadership. So it's gone from Brett Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, their top guys. Is there some other player that's in the shadows? Or
there are many. Most of them are male. There is one female. The female is a little bit stronger than the males, but yes, they'll have some kind of leadership mentioned. It possibly will start to come, maybe possibly by the end of this year, it might, become valuable again.
Yeah. It just seems to me, because it's very needed in, not just from my belief, but there's a real need for borderless payments and liquidity and settlement solutions. It seems like it's one of the most fundamental things for this great reset, as they like to call it.
Right.
Okay. Very interesting. Thank you for that. And other coins to go into, some of our favorites as well. Could we have an update on Digibyte, the superhero of crypto? In my opinion.
Well, that one, we don't see a huge change on it. It will continue to be healthy. We don't see it being a drastic jump as of yet. it feels like it wants to have a gradual up and down move is what we see with it.
Okay. And are there any prices that you're looking at in the next few months?
Not at this time. Well, there are timelines where it will be a large amount. Let's put it that way.
Of course.
Like 1,000, but of course, we don't believe that will be soon.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know. We don't see that happening soon.
I had a dream that it was 55 cents, which would be nice. So
if we can even get to that, yes. But there are higher numbers that are in the works.
Absolutely, yeah. We've seen some targets of $150 as near the all-time high, but from what I understand, it could even go further. And is it still the situation that their leader is holding them back slightly, or has that changed?
Yes, there is a lot of backlash with that. They're not in a hurry to make it grow. They want to build a foundation. They just want to have a stable ground right now.
Okay, it was just interesting because there's been some interesting connections with the United Arab Emirates and even Belgium mentioning it in some papers, which is cool. But we'll move on.
Right. So that's where the number can easily jump. So.
Okay, yes. Exactly. Yeah. And to bring us into talking about nations, can we talk about XLM, otherwise known as TELLER? Is there a partnership with Ukraine? Is it going to be, we've had a big spike now. Is it going to keep going through to maybe even $1?
Yes, it will go up and down, of course. We believe it will hit $1 eventually, yes. Mm-hmm. Before the end of the year. There's not that much of a prediction on that, but yes, it will get to that. And okay. a lot of these entities don't really want to predict too much. I mean, they do, but they don't. They kind of want to keep themselves. It's like exposing themselves. They want to keep a mystery out there.
And can I ask you a question? How do you tap into the timelines for crypto when you're struggling to tap into timelines for other things? For example, politics, just where we're going in general. Is it to do with how we've moved out of the matrix, since I believe, from what I'm told, April of 2020? How does that work?
Well, there are blockages to timelines, similar to crypto. You get used to how those blockages work. So for crypto is a good way of understanding yourself. But when you go to events, world events is a whole different vibration there. Mm-hmm. So some of the events don't want to be seen. You want to stay hidden once again. But you can just go by your feelings and trust it's with, with age. You just learn what your gut feeling told you when something was right, but you weren't trusting it. So
yeah, I say that all the time with even though we're given, price predictions and the coins, which helps a lot. Everyone has their own their own tap in energy to certain points. It really is. It's like a flow state. A lot of people are up in their mind with how to invest. Of course, you have to do research and look at the chart, but there's something more untapped, if you will, which we'll go into later.
Well, tapping into crypto is fun, but it's also some individuals aren't ready to tap into other people, like to help friends, family.
Yeah.
They're not always ready to go. That's a big responsibility for life-changing events. Crypto is kind of like a game. Mm-hmm. Some get mad it's wrong, but it's a prediction. Never. When is that ever? 100%. The entities play games all the time with people.
Yeah. Life is a game.
It's just the way it is. And you just have to flow with it. It makes it easier. If you're going to concentrate on a failure, you can take yourself down, actually. But if you just keep moving forward, it's okay.
Exactly. And can we go into one of the smaller cap coins, one called Space Chain, which SPC, I believe, is the ticker symbol. Could you tell us more about its connection to us stepping into a technological age? It's to do with crypto in satellites and the internet.
Well, yes, it's going to be used by most companies. Yes, it's going to be used as space age currency eventually. Okay. Even SpaceX has their own crypto, I believe they're working on secretly, from what I can see. PayPal might even have their own eventually. Well, these companies are going to have their own crypto altogether.
Yep.
At least to test it out, they might not always make it public. Like you can pay us with our currency, or so that's going to be. We don't see the dollar going away anytime soon, though.
Okay.
Crypto will be just an alternative payment system. So it's just another way where some people are just more comfortable with it, especially those that don't have bank accounts.
Yeah, and I've been discussing in the next 2 years. We're looking at that crypto maybe even being $5 to $10. Is that what you're looking at, or is it still got work to be done?
Or more, yeah, or more.
Or more.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, and I was wondering if you could go back to talking about SpaceX or Starlink. What is there? Are you at liberty to say which coin it is?
Oh, I believe they're creating their own coin.
It's not got a name. It's not.
The name? They're not coming up with a name. I don't believe they even have a name for it. They have a code name. That's all.
Oh,
something with X, probably. They're not really showing us that.
And how do you feel about the I guess you could say the sci-fi age we are entering? Do you feel blockchain protects us as like sovereign humans, or does it, make things a bit easier, for Silicon Valley and other technocracies?
Well, it's another form of currency that many wish to experience. So not every people are tired of the old system and want to try something new. Once again, we don't really see the current system going away fully as of yet. Maybe not in your lifetimes just yet, because it takes many years for it to, to begin its state. It has not even done that yet. Technically, they're going to be experimenting for a very long time. But some people are just going to feel more comfortable with crypto. You go to the grocery store with crypto, anywhere with crypto, that's going to become more part of the system. Eventually, you'll have different systems, the old system and the crypto system.
Okay. And I guess, the biggest thing for me is it's a trustless system, right? Like we don't have trust in a lot of government, unfortunately, or central banks or banks itself. So this is kind of like the way I see it, it's like a natural evolution. Do you agree?
Correct. Yes, okay. It is there's going to be many more evolutions coming soon, of course, not just in that area.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, decentralized finance is a big one, as well, which we could go into. Okay, that's great. Thank you for that. And a couple more as well that were requested. Could we talk about BCH as well, Bitcoin Cash, which we have a prediction that one day soon, in the next 2 years we're looking at, will overtake Bitcoin as for its volume, for its price as well. What do you think?
It'll be a long time for that. 2 years, I think, is not long enough. Maybe 5 or 6 years. It's not completely clear at this time.
Okay.
It's still figuring out its identity for it to, and that's another thing about those currencies. They're figuring out who they are, what they want to be. Just like in someone's own life,
like
they
children.
go slow, so they figure out where they're most useful.
But debatably, it's like completely different as well, because when you have codes and you can do everything so quickly, that evolution is rapid. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, we see like a lot of cryptos are going to find their niche market. Like some cryptos will be for fast food. You buy it there, use it for that. Some use it for space. Some cryptos will be as it is now. Actually, not everyone's accepting all cryptos at this time.
And do you see the people, like the true people, not the elites, not banks? Do you see us, really getting abundance from this in a material way to, I guess you could say, to accomplish our mission? Does that make sense?
Well, it depends on how you invest. Many are still are healing themselves. So yes, you might make it, a lot of money on crypto, but have you healed yourself? Have you accomplished even your internal mission, which many have not? They think that's accomplishment, but really it is not. That's why some are not getting super rich off of it. If you're contributing to others and using your talents, really, instead of just all being about you, some can make rich, but others, it depends on how you're living your life, basically.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
this can help others, you can use it to help others. Abundance will come. If you're just trying to make money and survive off of it,
It's the law of attraction. Yeah, it's like I did that test the other day. I was telling the group, where one of my friends, he needed some, he needed an opportunity, some help. I sent him, $2,500 worth of crypto, and then that came back the next day in profit from a new coin.
exactly.
Exchange, which is
Yeah.
really, and that's with anything, not just finance and crypto. But yeah, thank you for that.
But that's really abundance. Really, it's just if you just keep piling it up, and you might make a lot from it, but it's your health might not do so well, or you'll have some kind of test. So share the abundance helps you in the long run.
Okay. Thank you. Just one last topic before we go to some other beings, and I really thank you for your knowledge and your wisdom. Can we talk about wallet security? Just to talk about cold wallets, any other issues or things we should be aware of with governments, making us declare stuff? What do you see?
Well, yes, it's going to get more secure, but some of the elites are using the invulnerabilities to manipulate the markets and to get what they want.
Yeah.
So as long as you're securing it the best way you can, but notice that it's kind of like the Wild West. It's done on purpose. It can be more secure. It's designed not to be.
They like it where it is, yeah?
Yes. It's like your Windows computer where at one time it was easier to hack and to get into. Crypto's the same way for now until it matures. They're not always sure what hackers, if hackers need to get money or many agendas. They want those vulnerabilities there so they can get what they want.
But it's also, they're not going to necessarily go after people unless they're a high value target. Yeah.
Correct.
So the average Joe.
But your average Joe can still be affected by it, though.
That's true. Yeah. But it's usually through, from what I understand, people phishing with links and a few other things as opposed to hacking your wallet. Okay.
But normally your average Joe is usually not unless you go somewhere on the web where you shouldn't be and somebody finds you or somebody's interested in you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And we could, blessings. And if we could bring in the Lyrian beings that are working with Donald Trump's team or has a close connection with what is going on in the US.
Yes, of course. Blessings to you.
Blessings.
Greetings to you.
Mm-hmm.
We are the Lyrans. We are with the Galactic Federation of Light. We are feline. Greetings to you.
Greetings to you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for everything you do with the GFL. And
yes. You can call me Motalk if you like to call me by name.
Motalk. Thank you. How do you spell that, Motalk? Does it matter?
It's like Mo and Talk, something around those lines.
Okay.
You'll figure it out. You'll find. I think it's with a TOLK. Mo Talk. You'll.
Okay. Well, I am Lakita.
Spell it as you wish.
Cool. And could we? Yeah, I'm sure you've been seeing the amount of drama that's been unraveling in the US. Could we talk about in DC? Is this a distraction away from what is really going on, with these riots and storming the Capitol building?
There is with the human trafficking energy at the Vatican is more active recently.
Wow. Okay.
That one thing leads to another. Yes, you can say the Capitol kind of got they use that date to keep your attention over here while they do things over there.
Yeah. Okay. And what exactly, specifically is happening in the Vatican? Is it the cardinals? Is it the archbishops or the Pope himself? Are they getting?
Oh, it's all of them. It's obviously things aren't going to be completely clear because it's hidden, but there is a lot of movement to human trafficking to heal it slowly. What is allowed to.
Okay.
So,
And is this under the Vatican that a lot of this is happening in their, in their vaults or anything like that, or is it the labyrinth underneath?
the labyrinth underneath.
Okay. And is this going to be disclosed to the public as well?
Not at this time.
Okay.
As well, stay tuned. As there's many. Washington is your main focal point. It's like that's where the cards are being dealt.
Okay.
One thing will lead to the other. It's like a domino effect, is what we see. Yeah, we have to talk a little bit cryptic. Ones, if you like.
Yeah, that makes sense. And anything I ask that you can, I can understand. To hold back some serious details because it is still ongoing. And and we could talk all about the liberation of children, which is just, I'm sure, it's what everyone wants right now. Not just on Earth. Could we talk about as well Italy getting used and manipulating the vote? There was talks and apparently evidence and testimonies from Italians of being used to upload a software to the voting system via satellites. Does that hold credibility? Is it?
Oh yes, duly, yes.
Wow.
Other planets are affecting your voting system. Other planets can vote for candidates as they wanted to.
Is that going to be? Yeah, so crazy. Is that going to be the smoking gun, though? Is that what the people, the sleepwalkers, are they going to wake up to evidence in the next few weeks of that or any other corruption?
We see as usual your population are still going to ignore a lot of the rituals, truths. But those that need to be awakened, there's always in the small digits, always. Mm-hmm. Things might change, possibly, but some don't really want to know what's happening, as you know.
Of course. They're blocking. Yeah, I'm terrified. Okay. And do you see that affecting, going back to DC, do you see that affecting this inauguration on the 21st of January? Is that going to happen? Or is there going to be some evidence talking about, some of the political elite?
We see a lot of timeline changes, even today,
wow, okay,
that are hidden. So we see many events leading up to your 20th might even prevent it from even happening. So it's just, we see a lot of prevention of events that have been scheduled.
Is that good or
you'd say that is good for many of you that do not want this current regime to come in, because it is a regime that's kind of licking its fingers right now and feeling defeated. But they know that they have not quite won just yet.
Yep. Okay. Well, that sounds positive to me. That's good. And could we talk more about just really what is going underneath the surface?
Yes, we can go into.
Yeah. Has Trump been, is that Trump's clone? Obviously we know Trump is, for the people, and, without getting too political, it's a big deal for the world, not just for the US. So could you talk to us more about the clones, the assets, all the different chess pieces, if you will?
Well, yes, we can talk more about behind the scenes and what's in front of you, because that can cause some ruckus if we really go in. We can get ourselves in trouble. So we have to block ourselves from going into where we believe things are going to truly go. We can give you hints once again. But behind the scenes, there is an alien resurrection going on, where your Earth is going to be, reunified, connecting with your spirit beings that you've been attempting to connect with. This year is like an activation year. Last year was also part of the reset, but this is where it truly comes into play. Basically, underground forces are possibly seen in your skies, but they'll be seen as military vehicles instead. So a lot of your shadow elites are going to come out, but they're not going to. You might be able to tell the difference, but they're already above ground already, ready to move in. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So your clone of your president is. There are several clones that are waiting to be activated. Yes, it's not over yet, as some will say.
What are they like with these clone armies? That's just, it's crazy. I can understand for President Trump, it is a protection thing, because I did hear they poisoned one of his clones, which he actually healed himself as well with the help of the med beds. And could you tell me more? Okay, so that's great. That gives us an idea about the inauguration, tells us about that. Okay, let's go to the other side, the dark side, Joe Biden. Tell us more about his clone, and are his clones being decommissioned and all that stuff as well? How's that looking?
Well, they're being reinforced, but as you know, they're kind of like an AI speaking to you now. It feels like a scripted AI because they've kind of lost touch with the soul of Biden. Is not really there as it used to be. It's there, but it's really lost a lot of its power. So he feels more robotic and scripted because he has to be, because it's the easiest way to operate him at this time. Because he is rejecting it. He does not like what's going on anymore. He's been tired of being used. Of course, he signed up for it.
Well, he walks. He may be old, but he literally walks like a robot, and obviously talks like one too. Yeah. So I always think, is he an android? Is he a clone? Yeah, same thing.
Well, he's a clone that's lost its power to its source, soul. The soul is rejecting. The original soul is rejecting. The program. It wants out. It does not like being controlled like this anymore. It sees what's happening, sees how it's going to be seen, how it's seen now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't want to be seen as the villain, but it's going to put weight on that. Because it wants to make it look like this is all natural, and that's not working.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fine. This 80-year-old. His head actually, think of like a snake wearing a suit.
That's a good analogy, I guess.
A green snake, or reptile face being.
Yeah, it's like the Queen. It's just so obvious. But yeah, people do have crazy programming and conditioning and blockages, so they just don't pick up on this stuff. They're in denial, which is pretty crazy.
Well, yes, because you are in the movie, and they don't want to feel like they're your viewers, but also actors in it also. Obviously, not all of you are here to play in certain roles as much as you'd like to. Save the world, get on stage. Not everybody's meant for that.
Yeah.
And you can feel that.
Okay. And are the Lyrans, are your kind working directly with the White House and with the White Hats, I guess you could call them?
Yes, at a distance. Once again, we do work underground. We are careful who we speak to. As of here, we are allowed to be part of this conversation, basically the healing of the earth. As many are going through panic, but panic is not always a bad thing because it shows that you're going through a change. As many are getting ready for change. People are asking for a change, and you're being prepared for that change.
Okay, that's interesting. And how do you find working with humans?
Well, some find it annoying.
I can imagine.
Well, it's not because of the impatience here, the lack of empathy, even those that have good intentions. Some are just so impatient here. It really does get on the aliens, fur of just seeing humans so impatient.
Yeah.
We understand you're not knowing what's going on, but remember, you did sign up for this. Many are in their minds tricking themselves to get angry, to be whatever they need to be. But many of those we call patriots are they're learning. Even if they do get impatient, they learn their faults very quickly. Not that it's a fault, really. It's just a reaction to the times. We understand. Of yes, this world is going to become very alien, very well. It already is, but it's going to become more queer over time.
The polarities, that was part of Trump, you know, that was part of his mission, I guess, as well, was to bring the polarities into the world, you know, to see, so we could see exactly where things are going rather than, you know, in the shadows and being manipulated. But that's funny you said that about working with humans. And yeah, I think it's a big lesson when we're becoming more, you know, getting our connections back with the star beings. We really need to work on that, and just to be more, to keep our emotions in check, I guess you could say. And
well, we do have a humorous. So those that get aggravated and impatient, we just tell them to go somewhere and sing, go somewhere and dance, maybe.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure how many are up for that, but
yeah, we have a lot of your DNA as well, right? So we
of course,
yeah.
That's why you're so impatient.
Yeah, there's so many similarities.
Yeah, I mean, we know where you're coming from because we're no different in a lot of ways. So you might say one thing, but we have those problems ourselves.
Yeah.
Of course, we're at a different vibration. I mean, many of you are patient, but yes, your patients do wear out. Then we understand.
And I was wondering, can you give us an idea of how you look? Are you like a humanoid lion, or how do you look?
Tiger being with your lines, black lines.
Oh, cool.
So part of the weird military race.
Yeah. So. Represent. Those are my. Yeah, I have a really deep connection with you guys, and I'm sure many people do, because the warrior energy is really coming out, you know, in a good way. It can be a sacred warrior, you know, rather than fighting, if you know what I mean.
Well, as a feline, many of you have been on other worlds, realities, being told of a world like this being created by reptilian beings threatening to take over a planet that your planet at one time was most prosperous, beautiful, and still is, but it's like it's the gem to take over. And we were told time and time again it's going to be taken over. So many believed it, many did not. They did all they can to heal it, but never were able to see how it would truly play out. Many of you are still feeling that energy within yourselves.
Yeah,
that's why you're here, to unlock the walk on your planet.
And I hear there are even felines in Atlantis, which was a new development for me, because we've done previous episodes with this channel on obviously the tiger beings in ancient Egypt, and obviously the Hathors and Hathor herself. So could you tell us a bit more? We're still living in that old collective consciousness of Atlantis. Is that right?
Yes, it is the dark magicians of Atlantis. Understand how humans think, feel, and they give that knowledge to alien beings. To, you know, it's like a like the code for Tesla. It's like, here's the layout. Do as you wish with it. So reptilian just said, okay, we're just going to control the world this way, and other beings did it another way. So everybody has their piece of your reality. That's why it's so hard to break free of it, because there's so many beings here walking humans down. That's why the future is never clear. They don't want it to be clear. They made it so dense. It's like a maze, within a maze within a maze. So difficult to break free.
Yeah. And are you going to be, are the Lyrians going to be coming to Earth in the physical anytime soon?
There's actually see many of your reptilians showing themselves eventually, as they want the attention. So we will see how that goes. Yes, we will eventually believe more Palladian beings will appear instead of animal beings, so that'll bring less fear. But yes, we are around. We can also appear as human too. We have ways of going about that.
That brings me into shape-shifting. Okay. Yeah. And I've been told that, from past lives, I've been able to shapeshift, even as a tiger being, into other beings. And
yes, it's a natural process for some.
Yeah, this is a personal question, but I was told, when I was 6 years old, I went to a Tree of Life it was called the Tree of Life. I guess you say mystery school, right? And we were taught to shapeshift. Is that something that actually happened? Because I have no
Yes.
memory of it.
Well, yeah, because it's blocked. But yes, you can go into the tree's energy and know, even as a youngster, yes, know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
You talk to the trees. You spend a long time with. I mean, a parent just say, "Here, just be with the tree of life for a while," and that'll be your babysitter. You can say, or your teacher.
Okay, what's your advice to me or anyone for remembering these things? Is there any forms of meditation, sounds? I know it's hard to say.
Yeah, for you, there's a little bit of a blockage, as you know. Well, because you have your mind on the future goals, future projects. So, but it seems like they don't want to interfere too much in your direction. That's why a lot of things have not showed themselves just yet.
Damn it. Okay.
We feel like if there's something that you truly needed to bring through, you would have already. So,
Yeah.
I believe when your energy can relax, because it feels like you're busy at this time, then things will make more sense.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
And
because you want to have a clear view of where you're going. A downward, I feel like, will kind of interfere with that, from what I can see.
right, because it's like all these timelines, you got to settle on the timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're concentrating on certain timelines. You want to make sure you get to the ones that you're looking for.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And is there anything else you'd like to share? With just in general of world events, some of the big ones being, lockdowns, food supply, vaccinations.
No, not to give into the fear.
Okay.
Vaccinations, if you can, to get around them, do send a prayer, ask for assistance, so it will not affect you negatively. And either you won't have to take it, or if you do, it won't be as potent as others. Because we might realize many have no choice, and that's understood.
Okay, just to go through some nations, first of all, Australia, which is a bit more autocratic. How are you seeing for Australia and New Zealand with vaccinations? Just anything you can share.
We don't feel like they're going to push it mass. They're going to try, but I don't believe they'll. If they say in the media they're doing it, we don't believe it'll be actually successful privately. They just put propaganda out there that's being successful. I'm not sure if that really is it.
Yeah. So. And what about the UK, dare I ask? Because I'm here in London.
They are thinking about it, but I don't believe they really want to do it. It feels like they want to hold back on it. They want to make it available, but I don't believe they want to make it for everyone. I believe they're trying to.
Yeah.
They already got everybody on their back already.
Yeah. So there's like a huge demand already, of course, with a lot of people. But it's also just with the Prime Minister, with what he says, he was like, it's time to get rid of the old people or the people at high risk. And those chosen words are very telling, with that depopulation agenda and other stuff as well. So yeah, I'm sure that's, what everyone's been concerned about. And what about the US and Canada, to go to them with vaccinations?
Well, yeah, obviously it depends on who comes in charge. Yeah. They're going to try and push it on everyone, children mostly, actually, then elderly. But at least that's when the negative comes in. Mm-hmm. If it's more of a Trump energy, he wouldn't try to put you just for those that want it. Just leave it at that and push the virus aside. Overall, right. To defeat it differently.
And just to go to Europe as well, how about other nations in Europe? Are there any nations that jump out to you that are really trying to make this mandatory for vaccination?
Poland feels like they're kind of pushing for it a little bit. Well, I don't believe they'll be successful, but it seems like they're at least thinking about it.
Okay.
Same as Australia. Australia feels that's a mixed bag at this point.
Right. And I'm asking the right person here, for when people, if there was to be like a forced vaccination agenda and they came to your door and like, would we be within our rights, to really stand our ground? Because it is our sovereignty, it is our body. How would you, if you're in our shoes, react?
Oh yeah, war. We would. First off, our species would not do that, but yes, the others would, of course. But you can also use your mental psychic abilities to shut it down.
Okay.
And many are doing that right now. So, but yeah,
Right.
so it'll be almost a civil war because it's like depopulation energy basically as it comes into it.
Yeah.
So,
it is. And for a lot of people, my friends who are from, the 3D perspective of being, I just say to them, I don't tell people what to do with their body. This is our sovereignty, our divinity. We protect it at all costs. So it's something that, yeah, I choose, not to be fearful of, but it's something we have to be thinking ahead of the curve, just in case, especially if the Biden energy comes in, which I know it won't. But that's just my opinion. Okay, thank you very much. And another one to talk about with someone who's interested, to talk about welfare and the Nizara Gazara situation. Is there going to be debt forgiveness, across different, across the world? How is that looking for you?
well, the Earth goes into more of a positive vibration. That will be very much part of the Earth's energy in time, not instantly. Obviously, if it goes in a darker way, it'll be more debt. But in the positive direction, of course, they can go any way right now. We believe it will go into a positive, but we'll just let you humans decide where it's going to go. Us interfering. But yes, where a lot of debts will be forgiven and new technologies will be developed and new societies, a new world will be built.
Wow. That sounds great. And yeah, that would be amazing. And I'm sure that will happen. I just have this feeling since the solstice, we've been on the right timeline. And that's just how I feel. But yeah, to talk about other things that are important for people, food supplies and food shortages. Do you see anything with that across the world?
No. I mean, in some areas, Africa.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they might threaten it here and there. But once again, if a positive energy comes in, that will not happen. If a negative, like from the United States, will use that over the people. But we don't see that really happening.
Yeah.
Obviously, timelines are a little bit in the middle at this time. But we do see it going to a more positive direction.
Okay. And how are things with the Galactic Federation of Light? Are people collaborating? Are there still infiltrators on that front?
Yes, there is still a divide.
Okay.
Is similar to your Earth's energy. In some ways, that divide is actually helping us understand what's happening on your world, kind of like what you're going through right now.
Wow.
As well, coups also that happen.
Okay.
For darkness to show itself. So we have our little stages, also, similar to you. So just the way it is. It's anytime any alien being is connected to your planet has to go through some kind of light and darkness. You're testing us all.
Are there any particular beings, reptilians, greys, any beings that have stuck their neck out?
In a good way or in a bad way?
Bad way.
In a bad way?
Yeah.
There are shape-shifting beings that don't really have a name. That just kind of like call them like nexus beings. Not archons. They just appear as human. They appear as your friend. They appear as someone, a lover, whoever, and you have no idea it's not them.
Okay.
They have really advanced themselves quite nicely.
Wow.
Now, for us, there are beings that are hidden species, alien species that keep themselves hidden, advance themselves, a lot of times in a positive way, but then a negative comes out of it and they misuse it. And we find out the hard way.
Yeah.
We have no sign of it whatsoever, like an infiltrator in the CIA or something like that. Look at it that way.
How is that possible when a lot of you are telepathic and empathic?
Well, they found ways around that.
Really? Like a shield?
There's always some being that finds a way to cloak them. They see what our vibration is, and they learn how to cloak that also. Obviously, they don't look perfect, but they find ways to shade it. Some of us can say something's wrong with that being, or I'm just not feeling good. That's all. Okay, but then they keep an eye on it. It all depends because your psychic senses are always being tested, and it can get kind of overwhelming too because your senses always have to be on. And even in a positive environment, you can get used to being in a positive environment, and you get complacent. You feel like it's all right. You don't always catch everything.
Yeah.
Same as your world.
And how's your mission for the GFL? Are you almost like, are you overlooking us for a certain period of time until our ascension, or what's that looking like?
Well, your ascension is going to take many years, of course.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And many of us only are out. We have generations that come in and go out with your world. So
20 and back almost.
we say like 5 to 10 years of you becoming more of aware of who's outside your planet, who's around you. Mm-hmm. Obviously, only a small group of you will really recognize us. The still majority of most likely. And we start appearing on their planet. We're still going to be ignored by many, it seems, from what we see.
You won't be ignored by me. I
won't be, but
welcome you with open arms, brother.
Yes, and there's many groups that truly deny our existence on your planet.
Yeah, and so have the Lyrians, you were pushed out, going back just to touch on ancient Egypt. Was it the avian energy that sort of made you take a step back with Earth, with Terra?
Oh, well, for some, yes, but a lot of us felines have never let go of your Earth. So there's always been a back and forth between felines and avian beings, of course. Mm-hmm. All beings have a little problem with each other.
Of course, yeah. That's interesting. Okay, and just to wrap this part up, it's been so amazing speaking to you. I always love connecting with the felines, my personal favorite. And could you give us any advice on our own gifts? On really, the Earth has obviously gone into this new energy. We're going through closer to the galactic plane. Is there anything from your perspective, to us, that we can work on, whether it's meditation or chakras, anything like that? Any tools?
Well, yes, to be patient of your abilities. Some know they have abilities when they want it now, want their third eye to open. You feel like magic will open up those abilities. It just, the more that you just use it whittle by whittle, the more it will open up. Mm-hmm. Just whittle, the less the rush, the better, because the rush can actually cause a charge in your chakras. I mean, some can do it, but many, there's no rush for anything really. It's just many just want to go to a higher vibration, go to a shift to another world. That can actually slow things down.
Yeah.
So just go with it easily. Just the more, because you're showing more love for yourself if you just go with your body. If you're pressuring it, that's not always self-love.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like when people have a Kundalini awakening too soon, before they're ready, it can really shift their personality and their being, but that's great advice. Personally, I'd love to hear your advice. I've been working with a psionic psychic teacher, and it really is just practice. It's like, going to the gym, it's just working with what you have and really working on visualization and light language as well. And many other things, for that nature. So are there any particular techniques or activations that you like?
Oh, with working with a third eye, basically it allows your mind to just open up. You can visualize whatever you want to visualize. Just have fun with it. You want to see a walking, talking alligator, or a Garthian being, a dragon, you can just like play a movie in your mind. It's another way of exercising your third eye. Just have fun with it. The whole thing. Many humans take things way too seriously here.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the serious planet. You are connected to Sirius, we understand, but fun here can be very exhausting.
Yeah, and the kingdom of God, you could say, is the child, right? Is if you're tapping into like that silly, playful energy, that's when everything flows. Because you're out of your conscious mind. Which is really interesting. So I highly encourage people just to dance, to sing, like you said, to talk like light language. I talk to light language to my cat, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And it's fun,
Yeah, they know what you're talking about too. They look like, did you just tell that to me? Did you just say that?
Can you tap it? What's my cat thinking when I talk light language, or my version of light language? They have no clue.
They get a laugh out of it. It's like they feel your intentions as a love intention, so it does make them feel more comfortable there. It helps them remember their home world, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So when you do that, you just feel they feel the spirit world speaking through you.
That's so cool. And yeah, now you said that, what is my cat's home world? Can you tap into that, or
Serious.
serious?
There's
Yeah.
a planet called Eden. He's connected to.
Wow. So I believe I saw her as, I think I saw her alternate self, her twin self, in another world as well. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's many worlds called Eden. Eden is a very popular. You know, there's different star systems, many like Earth. Earth is not the only planet called Earth, or Terra, or whatever names you like to bring up.
Yeah. And that's so cool. And Eden, I guess, that's direct inspiration by the Garden of Eden.
Correct.
Down as well. Okay. Yeah. Wow. So cool. Okay. Yeah, we could talk for days about all this stuff. It's amazing. And will there be a time where we can have easier telepathic, interface with our animals? They can become more like brothers, and they can go with us everywhere. Is that 10 years out? How far out, roughly?
Well, when the negativity of your Earth, as you're going through right now, the play of manipulation, that begins to downgrade itself, where the governments are now, instead of, what do you call it? They are, there's a word for it. We can't think of it, but a compound.
Yep.
It's no longer a fortress, in a place where anybody can walk into and say, hello, how are you? Or it's like a place of philosophers, basically. How are you today? And just have a conversation. When the military arm retires, that's when all your telepathic abilities open up, love and lights, and just that's when it really, because government, they know exactly what they're doing, as you know. You should be allowed to go into any building that says public, and that's true. And you go in a peaceful way, as majority of you would do that. Obviously, actors that would come in and cause trouble. That's what happened during the time of Atlantis also.
Yeah. And they were actors, right, for DC. A lot of them were from, the other side, from Antifa.
Yes, that was as you are, yes, without going into full detail, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's just so orchestrated. It's so obvious. You can see they're not of, a stable mind, to put it lightly, so that's.
Well, your movies, notice how your movies are not playing as much as they used to, but now the life movie is taken over.
Yeah. I work in film, and I'm, it's so awesome for creative energy, for awakening, but I watch a lot less films now, this last year especially, because it gives you a lot of introspective work, like you said, with taking your time, with patience, with gifts, or reading books, whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Well, many things have to pause for a new change. You're going through a new change right now. Once again, patience, as you know. Many of you enjoy patience. Obviously, many are going through a lot of internal pain with the world, financial difficulties, life difficulties. When that starts to cut itself in half, anxiety is no longer the same anxiety as it used to be. We can now think clearly, because many are even having trouble thinking clearly, of course. So that's when it's tough. So, yeah, when your governments eventually open up the doors to everyone, doesn't have to have weapons, and it finally starts to become more friendly. You can say what's on their mind. Some might get crazy, but majority will be there for positive connections, which most of your world, I believe, wants. It's only a small percentage here to cause difficulties, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And how important to you, like even with you back on your home planet, how important is it knowing your darkest past life, or I guess you could say twin self, because reincarnation, everything's going on simultaneously, which is crazy. But how important is it knowing that polar, so the darkest self, the lightest self, being who you are? Is it something you embrace? You try and heal those lives, in the moment?
Well, some of us, obviously, not everyone's going to agree. When you have a darker side of yourself, you take it as far as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do this, you might as well own it. Of course, then you have to deal with the karma of it.
Yeah.
Of course, we remember, you don't. Well, some of you are starting to remember. But you have that time for yourself to And a lot of newer souls, that's where they discover it. They're nice for a while, many incarnations. Like, you know what? I've just learned how to be bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I want to explore this. And the rest of the universe, like, we've been waiting a long time for this. So we see it differently. It's just many are dealing with their own guilt, is to heal the guilt. And that's what your world, would come to a time where you explore all that darkness. And many would be proud of it. I mean, some won't be. Some are just ashamed of it. But the more you own it, that was horrible in the past, the easier you can have more respect for yourself. Not everybody has respect for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's totally right. And it's such an illusory thing, isn't it? Self-doubt, all that. And even like, I looked into my darkest self, and it's like so far removed. It's like, it's me, but it's not me,
Exactly.
Yeah. And people can process it. It's a lot easier to process or try and help rather than the current baggage one could have in this life, I guess.
Well, it shows a lot of maturity to own everything that you are, that you've been. Some, if they don't want to look at their dark side, probably because they're still dealing with a lot of it right now. It's like they're not ready to quite make peace with it just yet. But those are just, if you laugh at that side, I mean, obviously it caused a lot of harm to others and all that, but laughing does help too. Like, it was horrible, but you're also here to heal that. You're healing others. It's a long story on that, but I think you understand.
Oh, I do. Don't worry. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It's been amazing. And are there any concluding comments you want to leave that you feel that we should know?
Yes. Not to worry about the future. Many are terrified right now.
Yep.
Concentrate on the positive timelines. That's why we haven't gone into full details, because it's your world, not ours. Because we can also get ourselves in trouble for saying a little bit too much. But you decide where things are going. Yeah. Many of you are manifesting. We don't want to manifest a negative timeline. Many of you are manifesting a positive. So just concentrate on that, because timelines can shift, just like you shift lanes on an interstate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. The power of meditation, prayer, visualization. It's incredible, right?
Yes. What's happening now, like with your politics, some are trying to, just like your movies are used this too, pulling a negative timeline. They're doing that right now. But there is a positive one. Obviously not always showing itself, but it is there. So.
Yeah. And you can tell by those films, they have people are really noticing that, the agendas.
Oh, yes. Yeah. There will be a time in your world where you're going to start dissecting every single thing, your past, everything, of where it all came from.
I can't wait.
Some of you are kind of doing that now. Some of you only have so much time in the day to do that now, but the archaeology of your world, like your current climate, just dissecting it.
Can't wait. Anyway, that's gonna be fun. But yeah, thank you. Could you remind us of your name as well, just for everyone listening?
Was it Motog? Yeah, Motog.
Motog, my man. Okay, well, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much, and blessings, and hopefully speak to you soon, Motog.
Blessings to you.
Bye.
Greetings.
Bye, Ivan.
All right.
Good.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And just for anyone, we'll hopefully be doing a regular thing, and we can channel some other beings on request. Sure. And that was really useful, man. We covered so much.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Well,
all right.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you for having me. All right.
Thank you. Bye. Which one?